Hello, welcome on Al Control. I'm Tatiana. I'm a French game designer and artist. I make alternative controller games and playful installation. Today, I am so thrilled to tell you about the last Al Control event I participated in and the new work I made for it. It's the first actual physical Al Control event I participate in since 2020, and this event is Eniarov. Eniarov is a pop-up fun fair seeking to reconnect with the strangeness of the past by mixing old and contemporary technologies. As an event of yesteryear, Eniarov moves from cities to cities in different countries, from France and Tunisia to Russia and even China. The name stands for Foraine Backward. It's the French word for fairground. The event was created by Antonin Fourneau and Douglas Edric Stanley. They are both designers and artists. Eniarov's been running since 2005. This edition was the 29th and was held at the Fabrique Artistique et Numérique, also known as the FAN, a place in the eastern Parisian suburb. Antonin called a dream team of several artists for this event. Among them were Sophie Dust, who made Fanfare, a game mixing dart throwing and paper planes. Players had to fold their plane and then stick a hook and loop tape at the tip of the plane to make it stick to a giant felt target. I forgot to mention that it also involves fans. Jérémy Cortial, who made Print Fighter, a screen printing competitive game for 2 players. Jérémy actually taught me how to properly screen print. You may actually know him from another game of his that is Flip Paper. Bertrand Plan, who made Pink vs. Blue. It's a button mashing game of arm wrestling with lasers. Paul Gaston, who made Kayak, a cooperative game of watercraft paddling made with Teachable Machine, the Google's machine learning web-based tool. I participated in the calibration of the AI. It was a lot of fun. And Thomas Moll, who also helped on the Kayak game, but mainly made La Peg. Peg is a slang word from the south of France. It means sticking. It's a sort of pétanque, a French bowling game, but played with dodecahedrons instead of balls and with neodymium inside, so they stick to one another. Antonin himself worked on 3 games, 2 of them with Manuel Brun, and it's called Metapong. These are 2 ping-pong tables. One has a net on a lifting device that changes the height of the net during the game. And for the other one, it's the whole table that's moving. This was incredible. And finally, Antonin made Enya Golf. It's a mini golf he made with recycled materials with children from the area for the past 3 months. There were also other activities during the day, like screen printing on creeps, finger skating, theremin demos, and many workshops. So it's in this context that Olivier and I had to design a game fitting the mood. And so we made Pied Bibi. Keep in mind that we didn't know the content of the exhibit beforehand. We had pretty much carte blanche, and we only knew it was about rethinking bar games. So we brainstormed based on that, and we decided to make our own version of foosball. We wanted this to be a crazy, hallucinated multiplayer experience with a focus on détournement. We also knew there would be lots of children, so we wanted the madness to be similar to what I would call child way of storytelling, basically by adding elements on the go and end up with a story about dinosaurs fighting firemen and dolls and Barbies involved somehow. You know, just mashing different universe, different worlds all together with a complete disregard for cohesion. For the concept of détournement, we interpreted it in 4 main ways: through collage art, toy hacking, circuit bending, and music sampling. Collage is a technique of art creation in which an artist assembles different elements to form a new whole. It's something Monty Python is known for. Or Syriac for more recent reference. creation that is really meme-ish. Our game is kind of a glorified meme, I guess. So yeah, that was basically lots of Photoshop clipping, but it's a bit harder than it looks like, as we had to properly deal with the light sources so everything fit together. And I had to remake lighting by hand in multiple instances. For the animation, I went for digital cutout animation. It's what South Park is known for. And again, it's easy to do in itself, but to make it actually funny is a whole art in itself. You cannot just apply common animation guideline for this to actually work. So this was about the digital visual aspect of Pied Bibi, and we kept the same vibe for the object design by hacking toys. So this was the funniest part of the project and also the unknown variable. On every project we make with Olivier, we choose one new thing we never did before to explore. And so for this one, it was toy hacking. So yeah, the term is pretty self-explanatory. We scouted different toy shops, had a bit of fun in it, playing around and yeah, bought some toys and opened them and rewired a bunch of stuff in it in order to trigger some of their effects, both in the physical and digital space. So we associated game mechanics to them. And we also used toys by tearing apart dolls and sticking them to motors to animate them with Arduino. I forgot to mention that we also very obviously used the doll's limbs for the game controller. For the sound aspect of Pied Bibi, we did some soft circuit bending. Circuit bending is defined on Wikipedia as the chance-based customization of the circuits within electronic devices such as low-voltage, battery-powered guitar effects, children's toys, and digital synthesizers to create new musical or visual instruments and sound generators. And yeah, for us it was a really chance-based, a really random welcoming process. It was all about rewiring the police alarm of a toy police car we bought and messing around with it. That was fun. I love to explore it a bit more in the future. And finally, for the sampling. So sampling is the reusing of a portion of a sound recording, also known as a sample, to make a new music or a new sound. It's a bit like collage for music, I guess. And yeah, for this, I found some low-quality videos online shot at fun fairs and other events and converted it into sound format and played around with it to make a music loop and some sound effects for our game. So obviously it's not the only things we had to do to make Pied Bibi. We also programmed it, built it, painted it, and we did some electronics because there are LEDs showing the cooldown of the different mechanics associated with the toys. For that we used Tinkercad to simulate the circuit, then prototyped it, and finally soldered everything together. You know, the usual work one has to do to make a playful installation. And so finally, how is this game played? So it's a competitive game for 2 to 8 players. It's played like football, so there are balls. Players have to score by putting balls in the opponent's goal. They play with leg sticks and hand sticks for the goalkeeper. Each team can call the police to stun one of the opponent's players and wake up a dinosaur to burn all the opponent's players. And they can also release some spiders to grab the ball and bring it to their side. We are pretty happy with the results. We had lots of parents scolding their kids to stop playing because it was time to go, which is annoying for them, but a great success for us. In the end, it was a lot of fun to make and play. The event was a blast, and I was so psyched to finally participate in a physical all-control event. If you want to know more about Ignarov, the artists I mentioned, or the venue, I put links in the description below. That's all for today. Thanks a lot for watching, and until next time, take care and be playful.